Hello guys, welcome back to Beyond the Realms, and today I'm going to be answering your questions. I did a video not too long ago where I asked you to ask me questions, whatever, anything goes. I put it up on the Facebook fan page and of course right here on YouTube, and I really appreciate all the submissions. I got way more than I expected to. So I'm just winging this, guys. I've just briefly glanced through these as I pull it up here on the old trusty iPad. So I'm just going to wing it. I mean, I don't know. I'll answer these to the best of my ability. Tonight I'm enjoying the champagne of beers. High Life. Good stuff. Got some King Crimson jamming here on the radio. So let's get started. I'm actually going to go ahead and knock out the couple of Facebook questions first. First up, we have Casey Lee Robinson. He asked, what's your top 5 favorite Troma movies? Honestly, I'm not a big Troma fan. I like Toxie, of course. The first one, I really like Toxic Avenger. Other ones that come to mind, I do like Class of Nukem High. And then films like The Children, which isn't really a Troma film. They just distribute it, like, The Children, stuff like that. Rabbit Grannies is cool, but not a huge Troma fan, man, really. Next, Brian Petrowski. He asked, what are your top 5 favorite metal albums? Oh, man. Well, I know, I was just talking about Casey about this a little bit ago. Rain and Blood is without a doubt one of the best, in my opinion. And then I have to also list the album that got me into metal, and Justice for All. I mean, I know when it comes to Metallica, most people would probably say Master of Puppets, and yeah, that could be in there too, but I gotta say Justice for All. Pantera, Far Beyond Driven, Great Southern Trendkill. Man, there's just so many. That's really tough, man. That's 4. I mean, I know 2 Panteras in there, but hey, they're my all-time favorite band. Shit, man, what else would I put? I don't know, man. I really don't know. That's, excuse me, hard. Like I said, I didn't plan out any of these questions. I just figured it'd be better to just wing it, give first response here. So now we're going to go on to YouTube. I'm going to start all the way at the bottom. First question for Pedro Santos. He asked, what are some of your more not so known Italian horror films? Some 80s horror gems that you think horror fans should at least check out. Little known Italian horror films, man. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know a whole lot of what would be considered obscure Italian horror films. I mean, if you're into Italian horror films, most of them that I have, people mostly know. I really am anxious to check out this one called Bloodline that I'll be hopefully reviewing here soon. That's a new Italian horror film. 80s horror gems you think fans should check out. Original Trick or Treat. It's about Sammy Kerr, the rock star, the 80s horror metal. I always champion that film, and the reason why I do is because it still doesn't have an official release, and it really needs it. Pedro also asked, some metal bands that remind you of some horror films in terms of atmosphere, lyrics, etc. Oh man, there's many. I mean, Type O Negative always comes to mind. Black Sabbath stuff. It's really weird. The first Down album, for some reason, always reminds me of The Beyond, an old school Fulci horror films. I don't know if it's just because that's based in New Orleans. I don't know. Strange. Really not a connection, but I always think that for some reason. Nick Darden asked, if you could have been in any movie ever, what would it be and why? Back to the Future. I mean, because, if you had Doc Brown and the DeLorean at your disposal, what couldn't you do, man? I mean, honestly, you could do anything you possibly wanted to. You could make any other type of movie come true, because you could go and make yourself an actor and then end up being in any movie you want. So to me, that'd be like the ultimate movie to be in that could make all of your dreams come true. Nick also asked, can you give me a shout out? There you go, Nick. Man, I'm actually not even sure if I've checked out your videos before, man, and if I haven't, I apologize, and I will do that soon. I'm very bad for that here on YouTube. I try my best to keep up, man. It's just so hard. There's so many new people that I haven't really got to keep up with. So I apologize, man, and I will check out your videos. But he also says, what's your favorite film of 2013, and have you got a chance to see Mud yet? Well, as far as my favorite film of 2013, it's funny you asked that, because I'm actually going to be doing a video here soon of my top 5 favorite films of 2013 so far, like out of the first 6 months. So stay tuned for that to answer that question. Have I seen Mud yet? No, I haven't. I've heard a few things about it, not a lot. Let me know if it's good, man, because, yeah, like I said, I don't know a whole lot about it. I've seen a few people mention it, though. 74 Poker, what's up, dude? He says, to the Pop in Mind, what is the influence for the music you make? Okay, well, for those of you that don't know, I do an electronic project called Rain Architect, and some influences for that, man. I mean, I've always been into electronic music ever since, like the whole electronica thing really hit with Prodigy and Chemical Brothers. I mean, I would list Prodigy as an influence. As far as new school people go, Perverse is one. Some Excision stuff. I mean, he's a little bit more flashy than what I like, but I just love his transitions and some of the crazy shit he comes up with. But Perverse is one of the big influences, man. They just write some really vibey, trippy, laid-back electronic music that I love. Also, I know you like horror, but what are some other genres of movies you have a real passion for? If there was like conventions for other genres, would you go? Other genres I have a passion for. I love sci-fi, man. I mean, I really love sci-fi, and I really love comic book / superhero movies. I mean, I love all genres, but I mean, that's like my 3, man. Horror, sci-fi, and like comic book movies, man. I'm a sucker for all of them. And yes, I would definitely go to conventions of other genres. I mean, I wish they'd have one for all genres, but I mean, I know it wouldn't fly, as much as the horror genre does, because horror fans are just uber passionate, man, and I love that. So I don't know how well it would work for other genres, but yeah, I would definitely go. Rebecca Wright asks, what's the first movie you remember seeing? The first movie I remember seeing, I really have no clue. Now, I can point you to the very first horror film I ever saw, and that was the original Halloween during one of its TV showings when I was 5 years old. That cemented me as a horror fan. How did you get into collecting DVDs and Blu-rays? I've always, I dabbled when I was young, in like VHS and stuff like that, but I can distinctly remember, for some reason, around January of 2004, I started to think, man, you know what, I'm going to start collecting horror DVDs, because I've always loved horror, and, there's all kinds of amazing stuff coming out around that period. Anchor Bay was really, taking off and re-releasing stuff, and it just, I distinctly remember just thinking that, yeah, I'm going to start collecting horror DVDs, and I got a notebook and started writing down a list of everything that I wanted, and now I have all that and way more. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I mean, like 9 years ago now, I started to collect, and Blu-rays, probably 3 years ago, I started getting into Blu-rays. 1428 Rip, Robert, my man Robert. He asked, what's your least favorite horror franchise? Man, I don't know, because, like, favorites, I mean, it's always been Friday the 13th growing up, but as I get older, it seems like I'm finding myself watching films from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise more than any of them now, like, even the new ones. I don't, it's like I've always said, the beginning is my second favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, which may surprise some of you. Least favorite, man, I don't know, because I would have originally said Hellraiser, but I just recently got that Hellraiser pack for like $5 and went back and watched them. Man, like seriously, like the first 5 or 6 of them, I think they're pretty damn good. So I can't even say that anymore. So I'm kind of lost there. Ever had a bad HorrorCon experience? Kind of with Tom Savini, man. I've kind of had some crappy attitudes from him. Now I've seen, not personally, but I have seen Linda Blair be very questionable at a convention. I've seen her, the first time I saw her in Louisville, she actually had somebody there that was watching the crowd for people that took pictures of her. She was actually having them erase the pictures that they were taking off of her camera. if they didn't come up and buy a picture at her table. It's ridiculous, and that's why I've always refused to meet that woman. I mean, I've seen that firsthand with my eyes, no lie. How tall are you? 6 foot. Dire Grave 11 asks, what are 4 or 5 favorite Blu-ray or DVD covers as far as artwork goes? Oh man, oh shit, man, that's a loaded question. There's so many, man. I mean, right now, right off the top of my head, the first thing that comes to my mind is some of the Scream Factory titles. You know, I mean, I just think they're putting out amazing work, man. I mean, I love all the original work they're putting out. So really, pick 4 or 5 of them, man. To be honest with you, I mean, other than that, shit, dude. I don't know, man. I mean, there's just nothing really comes to mind right offhand that I like really love, other than those. I mean, that I can think of. This would have been better if I planned it out, I guess. Sorry, man. Also, what are 2 or 3 horror movies you haven't seen that might shock people? Oh, there's a lot there, man. I mean, there's probably way more than just 2 or 3. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of them that a lot of people talk about. Man, God, I don't know. I can't even think of them, man. I'm drawing a blank again. Damn. Shit. I haven't seen Stage Fright. I always hear people talk about that. I haven't seen that one. There's a lot of, you know, foreign stuff I haven't seen. I haven't seen the Loved Ones that everybody was talking about last year. I haven't seen that. I always really wanted to. Yeah, that's a couple I can think of. Clive Craven, what's up, dude? What's your favorite horror movie villain, and roughly how many movies are in your collection? Horror movie villain. Jason Voorhees, man. I mean, I have to always go with Jason Voorhees because to me, he was the ultimate. He's all the other ones you can kill, but Jason is just the unstoppable motherfucker, man. I mean, that's why I always loved him. How many movies are in my collection, man? You know, I haven't counted in a while. One time I actually did have a count. I mean, I think DVDs, I'm around 600 or 700. Blu-rays, I mean, dude, I don't know, probably 300-400. I'm probably around 1,000 or so, you know, bought movies. Somewhere around there. Mr. Snickers 21. Are there any horror films that you feel have crossed the line? Ones that you feel disgusted after watching? Yeah, there's many that I think's crossed the line, you know, but that, you know, this is kind of a you know, different subject for me because, you know, I used to purposely try to find films that would disturb me. You know, like the first horror convention I went to, I bought all the sickest shit I could find. All the August Underground, Salo, Men Behind the Sun, all this sick shit. And I used to really be into a lot of that stuff. You know, the toe tag stuff, man, that's different because those guys are like family to me. I look at that stuff a little bit different. But, you know, one that really started to change my opinion and how I look at films like that was a Serbian film, to be honest with you. Seeing that uncut. And, you know, when I was watching, I was just like, man, you know what? This just is not something I want to watch for entertainment. You know, I'm just not entertained by this. And it's just, I don't know, man. That was kind of the whole turning point of what I call shock cinema. You know, I've got my own opinion on that stuff. In my opinion, you know, I don't know. It's just not for me anymore, man. And I've really started to turn away from the shocking and extreme stuff. I don't really like to watch it anymore. On a very rare occasion, but it's very rare.